Hello, and welcome to our mini summit. My name is Gordana Ross, and I'm the founder and director of Rise to Health Coaching. With me today are Lavinia Milner-Gray from Workwell and Anthony Gray from Anne. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is close to our hearts and an important part of our businesses: mental health and well-being, a holistic approach to improving your overall health. 10 strategies to help you take back control in challenging times. We've chosen this topic for several reasons, and one of them is our current unprecedented situation. As you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic. It hit us suddenly and hard, and no one was prepared for what would come. It started with fear of contracting the virus and getting ill, and ended with fear of a devastating economic crisis with global effect. So one of the questions many of us have is, what now? What's next? How can we protect ourselves from situations like these? We're going to share strategies and tips with you in regards to how you can stay calm in times like these, and how you can improve your health and well-being and boost your immune system, but also what organizations can do to support their employees. But before we share those strategies with you, we'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do and who we serve. So my name is Gordana, and I'm a certified nutritional therapist, a certified holistic health coach, a life coach, and I'm currently studying functional medicine. I help ambitious leading professionals and entrepreneurs break up with stress, increase their energy, overcome fatigue, and I help them sleep better so that they can wake up rested, feel energized all day long, and just be more productive and enjoy more quality time with loved ones. Coming from a corporate background, I know how stressful life can be, having experienced burnout a few years ago myself. So most of my clients come to me because they're highly stressed, they're exhausted, they're tired most of the time, and they can't concentrate. You know, when you have this foggy brain and they often experience high blood pressure, digestive issues, cardiovascular disease, and even cancer as a result of their lifestyle. So I help them overcome dis-ease before it turns into disease. So creating a healthy work-life balance that suits their lifestyle is really, really important. It's key. And without fear of missing out, without the guilt for taking time for self-care, and very importantly, without medication. Often people know what to do, but don't know where to start, or they don't have time, or they think it's too difficult to achieve their goals. So as a health coach, I help my clients to make those necessary lifestyle changes. It is my mission to help people get well again so that they can thrive mentally, physically, and emotionally and live the life they desire. And by using a holistic approach, really, really helps my clients to improve all areas of their lives. And that's why mental health and well-being is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I'm really happy to share a few strategies with you that you can help get a restful sleep and increase your energy. But more about that in a wee while. First, let me introduce my co-exhibitors, Lavinia and Anthony, and they can tell you a little bit about what they do. Lavinia, would you like to go ahead?
Great, thank you very much for the introduction, Gordana. I'm Lavinia, and I'm one of the co-founders of Workwell. And Workwell typically works with corporate professionals who are struggling with their overall health and well-being, and it's impacting on their lives, particularly their careers. So we help them take back control of their health, boost their energy, focus, motivation, which leads them to becoming more engaged with their work, and as a result, achieving their professional goals. I know what it's like to be in that space of not feeling great and not having good health. Having worked as a corporate banker myself for 16 years, I know what it's like to burn the candle at both ends, not eat very well, stay out late nights, and and probably drink more than I should. So for an employer, this is a huge benefit to have employees who are in control of their overall health, it creates a healthy, positive, and resilient workplace where staff can thrive.
Wow.
Right. And I'm Anthony. I'm one of 3 co-founders of Anne. Anne is a future workplace strategy company that specializes in helping companies achieve their goals, their organizational goals, whilst helping them change societal norms, as well as breaking through borderless thinking within their workplaces. And we do this through a number of different strategies and look at different options within the organization. But we also try to engage in employees and management to actually break down the system within the organization. So we look at health of the business, health of employees, and we try to change their working environments. This can be done by several different initiatives, being the corporate space they're within. So redesigning their space to make it holistic, collaborative, and connecting people within the workplace to be more innovative and productive. We also look at the products that they can utilize and use within these spaces. So when we look at organizations, we look at from a holistic point of view to ensure that these organizations are future ready. Should they need to change their strategy or pivot for the future, we're able to facilitate that change and bring that right to the forefront.
Wow, that's quite impressive, and it just shows that there's so much that we can do to really increase that positive feeling in the corporate environment. And I also like what Lavinia said about just going through different phases in life, eating crappy foods, maybe drinking too much, not sleeping enough, all these kind of things. And I'm sure that most of us have been there, have experienced similar things. And it's interesting when you go through transformation yourself, how you notice the change, how things are different, how much more energy you have. But before we hear a little bit more about that, let me share something with you first. It's quite interesting. Just recently, I came across a research conducted by Deloitte in 2017 that showed that poor mental health costs UK employers between 33 and 42 billion pounds each year. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? And in the meantime, that was 3 years ago. In the meantime, the figure rose to 45 billion. That's a staggering 16% increase. I don't know about you, but for me, this screams like, we need to do something about it. And while there have been things done, there's lots of corporations who have actually done something about it, which proves in an analysis also conducted by Deloitte that shows that for every £1 invested in mental health, organizations made a return of an average of £5. How incredible is that? So they've really, really, that's proved. It's proof in the pudding that this works. And yeah, there's definitely huge return on investment. And I think that we have to come to understand that we can no longer be reactive, but to become more proactive, right? There's choices that we can make to improve people's lives, not just for individuals, but also for employers. We all need to take care of our own health, right? It's our own responsibility. But if we work together with organizations, with individuals, with health coaches, with Anthony's kind of organization, we can create something incredible. And while many positive changes were made over the past few years, there's still room for improvement. So, Lavinia, how can employers and employees contribute to better mental health?
Sure.
Or what I meant to ask is what are some of your strategies that you can share with us today that people can implement straight away that can help them improve their health right away?
Yeah, no worries, Gordana. As you mentioned, the statistics are quite staggering. On the number of days lost due to illness, mental illness. And I did have a look myself because I find this quite interesting too. I had a look at the latest statistics sourced from the Office of National Statistics. The latest ones are up to 2018. And in that year, it showed an estimated 141 million working days were lost in the UK due to sickness and injury. So that incorporates all illnesses. And that equates to 4.4 days per worker. And of that, and a slice out of that are minor illnesses accounted for 38.5 million days. So that's 27.2% of the 141.1 million days. So those are the days when you just don't feel great and you don't go into work and you have a headache, that sort of thing. So it is a lot of productivity lost every year. And we don't even want to start to equate that into monetary terms. So in relation to the question that you asked, how we can improve our health and well-being, and the first step is building awareness. So awareness on what you're eating, because it is quite profound, the impact that food has on your mood, your emotions, your mindset, your decision-making. So food is so important. Nourishing your body is so important. So what I always suggest to my clients is keeping a food diary. If it's for a day or two or a week, even better. And that gives you very insightful information into what you consume every day. And documenting, how do you feel after you've eaten that particular type of food? Half an hour, 2 hours later. Do you have a dip in energy? Do you have a peak in energy? Do you feel okay? Do you feel demotivated? So it's looking at the food that we eat. I mean, food gives us energy. It helps us to function. Food helps us thrive. So it's so important to ensure that we are eating the right foods so we keep our energy levels stable. And also, so it also keeps our hormones and mood stable as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just so important. And thanks for sharing all the stats as well, because I think it's most people don't even know. Most organizations are not aware how much sick leave and absenteeism is costing them. And it's just astonishing how we actually know about it. But looking at the current situation, people might still be concerned about being infected by the virus. We still don't know we don't know a lot about the virus, but recent studies have confirmed that people under the age of 55 who are obese are at high risk of contracting the virus and getting very ill. So what would you recommend, Lavinia, for people? What can they do who fall into this category to boost their immune system?
Sure. I'll provide 2 strategies. So the first one is eating less highly processed food. We all consume way too much processed sugar. And unfortunately, it's hidden in everything that we eat. So all the processed food that we eat, the cheapest alternative for preservatives is sugar, which comes under many different names that you probably wouldn't know. So a diet high in sugar, it therefore impacts our gut flora, which has a direct impact on our immune system. And there is new research frequently being released on gut health. And the research is showing that gut bacteria not only affects our body weight and lifestyle diseases such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, it also affects our overall health. So including how fresh do we feel, how alert are we feeling in our everyday lives. So my suggestion is to eat a varied diet. So steering away from the highly processed foods and trying to include more vegetables in your meals. So it's starting off, just really slowly, small steps. What vegetable can I include in my lunch? What other vegetable can I include in my dinner? And it's also trying to incorporate different colored vegetables in your meals, because as Gordana, you're learning functional medicine, you know that each vegetable has so many healing properties and all the vitamins and minerals that we need that are vital to our health and to boosting our immune system. Yeah. The other one is movement. Movement is so important. Yes. Now that we are working from home, unfortunately, a lot of us have become sedentary and are probably not getting up and moving as we would normally would in the office, going to make a cup of coffee, having a chat to your colleagues, and we're probably sitting at our desks at home for a lot longer than we normally would. We don't have the gym anymore. So it's what movement can you incorporate? And I like to call it movement rather than exercise, because for a lot of people, exercise is running or a gym workout, which is just feels tiresome. So thinking of things, different things outside the box, like roller skating, rollerblading, going for bike rides. The weather's great now. So it's doing different sorts of movements to get you out there and moving your body again. And that as well, just as food has an impact on your overall health and boosting your immune system, movement also helps you boost your immune system.
Oh, I love that. And it really is the baby steps, isn't it? Like start with something and then build up on that, rather than feeling deprived by giving up everything at once. And that's why so many people fall off the wagon, right? And I remember having worked with a client once who was obese, and she wouldn't want to go to the gym, which I can understand. So I suggested, when you said, like you can do different types of things, it doesn't need to be heavy exercise. I suggested for her to start dancing, something she can do at home. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it. Whenever she had a break, she would turn on the music and she would dance away. And she said she loved it so much that she joined the dance club and eventually, like really become more and more active. And so find something, as Lavinia said, find something that suits you, that gives pleasure, not that doesn't frustrate you, because then you're more likely to
follow through.
Yes. But so let's say, talking about all of these important things that you just shared with us and strategies, why should people hire a health coach then? Isn't that something we all know already about, that we should eat healthier? And why don't we do it? Most people know about dietitians and nutritionists, but health coaching is still fairly new in the UK. And yeah, can you just tell us a little bit how health coaching can enhance a client's experience?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. As health coaches, we adopt a holistic approach to health and well-being. So we look at every area of your life, not just the health issue that you're experiencing at that particular time. So there may be something else going on in one part of your life that is driving you to overeat or even overdrink. And as health coaches, we dig deeper to try and pinpoint where there may be that misalignment in your life. It could be you're not happy at work, or you're not happy with the particular tasks that you're undertaking at work. It could be a relationship at work is not going very well, even at home. So therefore, it could affect your health. So it could even be like you're not investing, enough time in the things that you love doing because you're so busy with everything else. And that could also impact on your health. So we look beyond the symptoms to find out what is getting in the way of you thriving. So what is unique about health coaching is we provide the system, support, and accountability to ensure our clients follow through. Without these 3 steps, clients may not experience the change that they're seeking. And as I mentioned at the beginning, health coaches are a valuable asset to an organization as we help employees improve their health, mental health, and overall well-being, which creates a healthy, positive, and resilient workplace where staff can thrive. When staff are thriving, they're engaged. Staff retention improves, and absenteeism due to sick leave decreases. And this improves productivity and ultimately the bottom line for employers.
Oh, absolutely. I think you just hit the nail at its head. I think, like stress doesn't always happen at the workplace alone, but we spend most of our time at the workplace, right? And so whether you're bullied at work or just not have a great relationship with your manager or with your colleagues, it's so important that this can be worked out. And I think, as you said, a health coach provides the right system, the right accountability, and the right support. And I would add on top of that, motivation.
Yeah.
It's like empowerment, motivation, all these kind of things that you don't have when you try to do things on your own. And I think this is extremely important, right? So, but looking at the corporate side of things, Anthony, what do you think organizations can do to support their employees further, while we have to take responsibility ourselves?
Yeah,
In many cases, there's still that can be done in a corporate environment. So can you share some of your strategies, please?
Yeah, of course. And Lavinia highlighted a lot of the points in terms of, how changing the health of your employees can actually improve the health of the organization. And I really like that view. But a lot of organizations actually see that this is down to their employees and the employees that they're, the choices that they make. But I think as organizations look to move into new sectors or look to pivot, they really need to improve the health of the whole organization in its totality. And I think, organizations need to break down the societal norms within the workplace. We've all been into a meeting where someone's brought in the donuts, and to them that is the societal norm. It's a bit of a treat, but what they actually realize, or what they don't realize, is that it's a bad practice and it teaches bad habits. So what we try to do as Anne is break down them societal norms and bring everyone onto a same playing field. So we look at the organization, we look how the organization wants to reach their goals, or what are the goals that the organization wants to reach. Then we try to engage their employees to understand what is it that they want to achieve, whether it's better health, whether it's wanting to have time more with their family. How can the employees actually be more engaged at work to create new solutions, be creative and innovative within the workplace, because ultimately that's going to drive the success of the business. So we try to understand them little nuances within the business and where the business wants to go. But that's very easy. Instead, we can do that and we can give them a report. And there's a lot of organizations out there that already do that. But what we try to do is to understand exactly what it is and then bring that to the light and help the organization to introduce that new initiative. So whether that new initiative is teaching people about health within the organization, but more distinctly, what health? Is it physical health? Is it mental health? And I think they are areas that we tend to put into particular boxes, but we actually find that one affects the other, and then that affects everyone. So, a disgruntled employee then makes a unhappy workplace. So we try to address every aspect of that and introduce new initiatives. Now, them initiatives can be, a dance class, in fact, which is absolutely brilliant. What you said about your client that was nervous about going to the gym. So a dance class is absolutely brilliant. But everyone can engage. It's a very social thing, so it builds camaraderie, it builds connection, enjoyment, fun. So these kind of initiatives. Another great initiative is introducing sleeping within the working environment. Now, that is a real hot topic at the moment, and there's a lot of taboo around that, saying, especially with employers saying, oh, I don't pay people to come to work and sleep. But then employees, studies have shown that employees actually want to have somewhere that they can actually go and have a nap. Now, napping at work, you don't have to have an hour nap, 2 hour nap, because that is just unproductive in terms of the way you feel afterwards. But to have a 20-minute power nap, but not even a power nap, just have a bit of a time out away from the desk, switching off the digital devices, going into a wellness zone where you can actually, enhance your senses from sound, from light, from smell. And that just helps relax and calm the body right down. From that, you would get a more engaged employee. You will get a more productive employee, a more creative employee. So the studies are really there, and that really plays into, sick days, mental health and well-being that both you and Lavinia referenced earlier. The financial impact that this has, not just on organizations, but globally. Massive stresses on the NHS. Organizations can support the NHS by making small changes within their organizations. Sometimes they don't see the connections, but they are there. small connections. Another thing as well is introducing biophilia. So simple things like plants, natural lights, these kind of things really stimulate the brain and stimulate employees' health. So again, engaging employees a lot more within the organization. Now, a lot of companies, and you may have mentioned, post-pandemic, financial, it's a big impact. And a lot of companies think that this is very expensive process, but actually not. It could be simply implemented in increments, and if that isn't working for the organization, then we can quickly see why that isn't working and address them issues. I think a lot of strategy companies don't take that kind of responsibility, where if initiative isn't working, then they need to take a step back and understand why that isn't working. Is it the management that isn't adopting the practices that they should be preaching? So these are all little things or little nuances that we look at and we try to understand within the organization to create a healthier organization, to create healthier employees, to create healthier just the people within the workplace. So these are just a few things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that, there's a lot more that you can share, but we just don't have the time, unfortunately. But this is exactly. So these are just a few small things. So you can only imagine what options are available, for organizations. And I mean, as a listener, honestly, there are so many brilliant things that you can do within your organization, within the organizational corporate environment to help your employees to stay calmer. And I really like, Anthony, that you mentioned napping. I think this is absolutely brilliant.
Exactly.
Knowing from my own experience working in the corporate world, knowing just as a matter of being a coach, speaking to my clients, a lot of people are sleep deprived. They're tired, they're exhausted. That's probably why I really focus on that niche or specialize on this niche, because it's the fatigue, it's the exhaustion and everything that adds more stress to your body. So it's not just stress being busy or overwhelmed at work. It's being sleep deprived, and obviously, in combination with a poor diet. And so when you said the napping, even just 15-20 minutes, I think this is absolutely brilliant. And talking about sleep, I would like to share some of my strategies that I teach my clients as to what they can do to improve their sleep. And one of them, it's kind of a logical thing, but I think people don't understand the importance of it, is having the room absolutely black out, dark. Like, seriously, there's so much going on within our body that has to do with light and the impact light has on us, being awake or being asleep. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's so important that if you do have a light sleep and if you're struggling to fall asleep, this is the one thing that you can do. Make sure your room is completely blacked out. So you can either have blackout blinds or whatever you call them. You can use eye masks if that helps, if you can't get the room dark enough. One of the other things I would highly recommend is just don't have any electronicals in your room. So take out your mobile phone. That's one of the worst things. It interferes with your brain. So any EMFs, any electromagnetic fields should be taken away from your room. And also because of the light, so if you have a stereo, if you have a digital alarm clock, all these kind of things can disturb your sleep. And very important, another strategy that can really help, that has improved my sleep actually, is don't eat at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. I used to snack before I went to bed. And what happens, I didn't know that, but what happens is your body takes so much energy to digest food. So your body uses up most of its energy during the day digesting food. So if you constantly snacking, your body will be digesting food all day long. So just imagine, if you eat before you go to sleep, your body is not thinking of doing the job it's meant to be doing while you're asleep, which means replacing brain cells and repairing other cells and things like that, detoxing your body. No, your body will be shutting everything else down, and focusing on digestion. And that's not what you want. And that's often the reason why people wake up in the morning absolutely shattered and tired and exhausted before the day has even started. So these are the few things that I would highly recommend that you can do. And one other quick thing before we finish is breathing. Like when you feel like stress coming up, and even in a beautiful environment, as Anthony described it, with beautiful maybe plants and so on. Sometimes life happens and we do get stressed. So when this happens, there's a quick thing, a trick that I use or used to use when I was in the corporate world, is find yourself a quiet spot somewhere, close your eyes, and then just for 2 minutes, do gentle and slow, deep breathing. Like really, like take your time to breathe in and then exhale gently and slowly. And do this for about 2 minutes until you feel more relaxed. You will make better choices as a result. You will make better decisions. You will be less nippy, less stressed, and you will less likely grab that chocolate bar that is sitting in your in your drawer. So seriously, stress makes you make the wrong decisions. All right. So so these are my strategies, and Lavinia shared her strategies, and Anthony shared a few strategies around the corporate environment. So I think these are fabulous things that you could, as an individual or a corporation, already start making, these changes to create this calming effect, this calming environment, and really help people to live a healthier life. And so sadly, we're coming to an end of our mini health summit, and we would like to thank you for watching this video. We hope that you find the strategies useful, and that you hopefully are going to try one or two of those. And we will be delighted to meet you in person at the event in November. So please note that we are all individual businesses, but we share the same stand. So if you want to learn more about any of what we do, or all of us, feel free to come and visit us. We are at stand 566, and we'll be really, really happy to share more strategies with you and other ways of how we can help your organizations or yourself as an individual. So thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting you.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you soon.